No, wait.
Yeah, you gonna fucking talk shit?
For reals, just wait.
You motherfucker! No.
You're a grown-ass man. Like, the whole world's moving while you're down. It's fucking terrible.
So I covered most of Daredevil Born Again episode 1 through 6, and although it's nowhere near the original series, I had a pretty good time with it. I thought it was pretty solid, especially upon rewatches. Then immediately after I dropped my video, episode 7 dropped, and well, that was pure ass butter. I mean, Muse? More like, you snooze, you lose, you fucking bitch. But for reals though, I had high hopes for the series after all that happened to it. I'm still impressed with how much they were able to salvage. Episode 2 through 7 were before the overhaul started, and so most of the episodes were tweaked since they had already filmed so many of them. Apparently, Matt crying and dumping his mask over the edge of the building was going to be the legit opening of the show. Yeah, that's it. No Bullseye, no Karen or Foggy, just that. And apparently the time jump. It's insanity, I know, so thank goodness for that overhaul, of course. Some of it couldn't have been salvaged. Episode 7 was that. It was pure diarrhea. Like, they should have just saved Muse again for season 2 and totally deleted that episode. They crammed a whole season of development for a character that had legit one scene in it up until episode 7. I even saw some tweets of people trying to make Muse out to be like some big Daredevil villain when bro's probably been in less than 20 comics. People want to point to characters like Gore when you say that, but it's like Gore was in one of the best Marvel stories ever. Muse is almost a flavor of the week type villain. Not saying he's not cool and can't become cooler, but there are levels here, okay? They brought Muse back in a recent Daredevil run, so they're probably gonna have another copycat, I imagine, for season 2. Like, episode 7 and 8 should have launched back to back, honestly, to make up for what they had just put out. The Muse fight in episode 6 absolutely clears this one. This goon also dies for trying to coerce Vanessa into betraying Wilson, but he gets dealt with. And it's like, I never even thought there was a point where she would ever betray Wilson for this guy, at least. But I guess you had to create the rift between Heather and Matt somehow, and then Fisk's force takes credit for Daredevil's work, taking down Muse, and that pretty much sums up the episode. Art for art's sake, more like fart for shit's sake.
My house is full of shit! He shit everywhere! Look what he did, he shit all over the wall!
Now, episode 8 was getting hyped up because both Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio were saying that one was their favorite and that it was iconic, and it's hard to say it's not. Isle of Joy is easily the best episode of the series. This reminds me of one of the latter season episodes from the Netflix series where, you know, things start to really unfold, we get some big revelations, and the climax gets prepared. We open up on a beautiful blue rose set to the very ominous track Stillness and Panic by Hannah Colstow, where we see our beautiful Bullseye being transferred to general population, so he is likely to get his neck wrung. Then as Heather gets invited to this mayoral ball by Fisk, which Matt is obviously against, he's like, you shouldn't go because, you know, Fisk is my main op. He's doing this to get to me and he's gonna try to coerce you. It'll be very dangerous. Can you not go, please? And in true to life fashion, that adds 500 plus points to the she's definitely going to go now skill tree. Plus, Wilson finally shows Vanessa Adam and basically says, you know, it's him or me. I cannot be if it's not me. And again, in typical fashion, she chooses the villain. She shot the shit out of Adam. Pretty wild. And so Bullseye wants to meet with Matt, and they do, and he just grills the shit out of Bullseye about if Fisk put him up to it, killing Foggy or not, but Bullseye would not say anything until Matt agreed to try to get him out. And in a way, Matt kinda does by knocking his head into the table, loosening up his tooth so he could perform his special blow move to the security, allowing him to escape. And I love the little smile that he gives the guard right before he does it too, because he's just like, yeah, you're so fucked right now. That's what that smile was. And that blue filter goes absolutely hard. It reminds me so much of like the Deadeye mode in Red Dead Redemption 2, or how me and my nephew refer to it as sicko mode. But it is also wild how he escapes. Like, bro, nobody noticed this dude that's a prolific villain who has a huge scar across his face. Like, y'all really do suck. But basically everyone's at the ball. Heather is looking absolutely fine as hell, and Fisk is there, and he's basically taking everyone into this back room, mogging the shit out of them and letting them know they need to invest or follow his lead and listen to him, or he's gonna ruin their lives. And he is dripped out, okay? He looks insanely big, rotund, if you will. I don't know if they had Vincent D'Onofrio eat like a big bowl of spaghetti, but he is looking very plump here in a good way. The episode culminates with Matt overhearing something Vanessa says that leads him down the tunnel of realization that it was her who put the hit out on Foggy. And this has had a lot of people debating whether or not Foggy is still alive, since in the first episode there's a number on Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige, 468 which refers to a storyline in which Foggy fakes his death, plus how she told Matt to relax implies that there is still some things that Matt doesn't know, which is nice that there is still a bit of mystery out there. But I'm realistically just so pissed off at all this beating around the bush. But Matt takes the bullet for Fisk, and I just love the red filter as he lays there on the floor. I just really like the artistic choices behind this episode, the colors, the music, the aspect ratio change went hard, the bars of like, isn't that what good men do, defend their worst enemy, the did Matt intend to free Bullseye or no. Just a very solid episode, very close to a Netflix quality episode in my opinion. Episode 9, Straight to Hell, what can I say? We finally find out that Vanessa really did commission Bullseye to take out Foggy, or so it seems. Matt is in the hospital and he has a Ron Weasley moment where Heather is in front of him and he wakes up and calls for Karen. It's just lucky Latina mode wasn't activated. But basically Kingpin shut down the power to the city and sends Buck out to kill Matt at the hospital. Matt escapes and links back up with Frank and they whoop some task force ass. Pretty decent fight, very gruesome on Frank's part. I don't care how ridiculous the blood spatter is, I fucked with it. Culminating in Matt finding Cole North to be the killer of Hector Ayala, but being above killing him. That's when Karen comes back into the picture, being the one who called Frank in the first place, and I find out about the Red Hook port, how the Fisks are trying to expand it to make even more money, billions. Frank pays the place a visit and wreaks havoc on his fanboys. Nice sequence once again. He ends up getting captured by them though. Then Fisk gets his hands on the commissioner, literally, and basically if you're in your late 20s, this is what life feels like. You have this to look forward to. Fisk just completely bitches this man up all season long. It's so crazy. Like again, this is super gruesome and really shows Fisk's like supernatural level of strength. He lets the whole force know, you know, what will happen to them if they go against him, but I don't know if it's quite the same as the Door decapitation, truthfully, but it's still really good and something I never really thought I would see from Disney and like Marvel Studios, so that is nice. They're pushing the boundaries. Matt and Karen take a visit to the port and Matt realizes he can't do this alone and that he'll need an army. Now, it came to my attention that apparently the Spider-Man theme plays right before Matt says we need an army, and I've tried to listen to it over and over again, but I just cannot hear it truthfully, but it's there. Teasing Daredevil will probably have some part in Brand New Day, which he absolutely should. Up until that, everybody was saying that Spider-Man and most of the NYC heroes are on fraud watch, which like, fuck are y'all doing while all this is going down? But that just makes me more excited for season 2 because I just know the Defenders are coming back. Matt gets a Nirvana send-off like all goats, and the season ends with Fisk starting martial law, so I'm tremendously curious how this affects Spider-Man 4 and if they tie that up before next summer or what. All in all, it was a pretty enjoyable season. I want to give it the credit it deserves for pivoting as well as I feel it did for all that needed to be salvaged. It's hard because I feel like it's been one thing after the other with like COVID, then the Chapek era, and then Bob Iger comes back, then the writer's strike, and then the overhaul. It's just at a certain point, we as fans have to stop giving so much grace and we have to hold Marvel's feet to the fire to say, hey, you need to make something fucking exceptional. I think it's one of the better Disney Plus shows, but it still feels very much like a please wait for part 2. And maybe that's because I'm used to Daredevil having 4 more episodes to tie things off. This last episode, I was like so worried they were going to rush an ending, and I think that might have been a bigger mistake, but this season just lacks a finality to it in my opinion. I really want them to prove me wrong with season 2, but that is why I have got to give Daredevil Born Again season 1 a fluctuating 7 to 7.5. It's enjoyable for the most part. If you consider the overhaul, it does become a lot better. It's nowhere near the OG Daredevil series. I know what peak Daredevil looks like. I know what peak television, peak comic book television looks like, and this is just not it, but it is enjoyable. Those are just my opinions, guys. Let me know what you thought of the season, whether you liked it or not, the things you wish they would have changed or done differently, and what you're looking forward to in season 2. If you are looking forward to season 2, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want to subscribe, I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and I will see you in the next one.